Treasure hunts are one of those epic tales that you only see in the movies like The Goonies, Disney's Treasure Island, Disney's Treasure Planet, and Full Skull starring Matthew McConaughey. Picture it. You and your friends are on the search to find a well-known, quote-unquote, well-known hidden treasure, with your basic bad guys hot on your tails, all following some old-ass map where at some point you lose or is destroyed, only to discover you were on top of the treasure this entire time. But the bad guys beat you to it, and a fight breaks out. But you have the upper hand because you have the prized possession of the collection that the bad guy just has to have. You end up tossing it into the abyss, and in a knee-jerk reaction, the bad guy jumps after it, falling to his death. Ah! While you and your friends make a pact about not spilling the treasure's location, like respecting the island, or respecting the island's tradition, some bullshit like that, only to reveal at the very, very end. So like the end credits, like the rolling credits, or like maybe these are after the credits. We see it's like different locations, and you and your friends are in a group chat, like FaceTiming, all flaunting your newfound wealth. The end. The movie won't be out until this fall, only in theaters. Now, although this particular story was made up, it doesn't stop people from wanting to go search for something that may or may not exist. In fact, this is how this tale came to be. This is Mind Over Wonder, Episode 10, Treasure of Lima. The story. Okay, the story begins with the Peninsular War. Ooh, I pronounced that correctly. Between 1805 and 1814, France, led by Napoleon Bonaparte, the short guy, quote-unquote short guy, I think he's like 5'6", 5'7", was waging war across Europe. Britain seemed like they weren't taking the short man's threats or actions seriously because they weren't doing shit. They're like, we're not... everything but us. Okay? They're like, we're not the one or two. Okay, sorry. So Napoleon wanted to hit Britain where it hurts the most, their pockets, aka the economy. He ordered surrounding nations to close their trading ports to British goods. The countries were like, okay, sure, all except for Portugal and Spain, who were both allies with Britain and was not going to stop their trades. Napoleon did not like this. So in 1807, France will invade and occupy Madrid, Spain. Madrid, Spain. I think it's Madrid, Spain. With the cherry on top being Napoleon installing his brother Joseph as the King of Spain. Isn't that crazy? Moving on. The news of the invasion and defeat of Spain had made the already weathered down people of Peru to not only look down at the Spanish authorities, but the monarchy itself. But their disapproval didn't have much of an effect. Now maybe they, the monarchy, felt some of that tension come from outside because they would limit trade dealings and citizens could not participate in politics. They, the monarchy, are jeopardizing the economy of the country by slowing down the flow of the income throughout the city, and you, as a fed-up, disgruntled citizen, is not allowed to express how this is wrong each and every way, just have to sit and watch. I think we can all see where this is going, but if you don't, well, we're going to find out soon enough. Like I said, the pressure in the community was building up, and the monarchy felt this. In come the Spanish viceroyalties. I want to say viceroy because the way it's spelled, but it's literally like viceroyalties. Now, a viceroy, quote, one who rules a country or province as the representative of his sovereign or king, and who is empowered to act in the sovereign's name. End quote. I'm aligning this with with that as like authority figures, cops, administration, gatekeepers, etc. Right? You get the idea, right? Okay, cool. They're sent out to make sure these disgruntled citizens were kept in line and weren't planning on doing something, irrational. After several years of Spain having an iron grip on the country, the pressure from within had reached its boiling point. Argentinian revolutionary José de San Martin, fed up with his Spaniard oppressors, formed the Liberation Expedition of Peru, and in 1820, José would lead the revolt to Lima to take back his country once and for all. Enough is enough. Getting word the revolutionaries were heading to Lima, Spanish Viceroy José de la Zona went into full panic mode. He was like, oh shit. Now, I don't know if he was told by the higher ups or he did it on a whim. Either way, it seems this was above his pay grade. Because why are you doing this? Like, did the monarchy send you to do this? I don't know. Anyway, Jose gathered a boatload of Peru's, or maybe it was Spain's, maybe both. He gathered up the country's most valuable pieces. Now, according to the reports, the haul included one chest containing altar trimmings of gold cloth with canopies, monasteries, chanceliers, all coated with gemstones, up to 1,200 pieces. Another with 2 gold relic containers weighing 120 pounds with 624 topaz, carnelies, emeralds, and 12 diamonds. One chest containing 3 relic containers of cast metal weighing 160 pounds with 860 rubies. Let me just tell you, there was numerous chests filled with just so many jewels and golds and jewelry, and so yeah. But he's like gathering all these chests and all these coins and just gathering up. But the prized possession was a 7-foot solid gold statue of Virgin Mary with little baby Jesus, weighing 780 pounds. Now, herself, the statue, Mary, was coated with 1,700 jewels, including 4-inch emeralds, 6-inch topazes, and several crosses made of diamonds. Why would you need so much? Why would Mary, Joseph, and little baby Jesus need to be coated with jewelry? Why do they need to be decked out like that? It's like I'm supposed to be something sacred, I guess. The haul was estimated to be worth up to $160 million or $200 million. There was one report saying it was $1 billion worth of things, of treasure or haul, whatever you want to call it. But that was just one report. So far, it was just it was up to $200 million, which is would it be worth to $1 billion? Because that's a lot of stuff. There's several chests containing a lot of stuff. I mean, I just feel like that little baby Jesus and Mary can be worth millions alone, no? Anyway, now once everything was gathered, Jose's game plan was to send the chest to Mexico and retrieve it once tensions cooled back down in Lima. Now, I don't know who, I'm assuming Jose, because it seems like he's orchestrating this whole game plan. He will hire English trader William Thompson to transport the haul. I said the haul. Wendy Williams, the haul. The haul, which they thought was the perfect choice because England didn't have any connections with the citizens of Peru or the revolution that was taking place. Now, William Thompson, his second mate, James Forbes, and their crew would be accompanied by a military guard from Spain, I believe, yes, and several Catholic priests to set sail to Mexico on their ship, Mary Dear. I don't know why the priests were involved. Were they trying to protect the little baby Jesus and Mary statue? Why were the priests? I don't know. And why was there not more guards moving forward with this? If there's so much treasure, why not? Am I talking out of the mic? But yeah, questions I'm asking myself now as I'm telling the story. Now, Captain William was paid a hefty amount. After all, this was a job he was asked to do, and he obliged. So money wasn't the issue. Well, it wasn't necessarily an issue, but more of a motive. Knowing all that gold and jewels is sitting pretty directly below them, Captain William will let greed get to him. Dun dun dun. He will gather up the crew. I'm assuming somewhere off the ship because he doesn't want the military guard, the Catholic priests hearing this. So he gathered up the crew. He said, "Come on, y'all. We got moves." So he's probably like, it's a ship. I don't know how big this is, but he gathered everyone up. He said, "Come on." And he told them, allegedly, quote, "We can work as we please the rest of our lives. Boys, and not all of us together, can ever produce for ourselves as much wealth as there is in one of those big boxes. The fellows who hired us to haul this cargo for them as are thieves. They stole all this gold. Let's take it from them and put it to good use. Where is that will of the crew?" End quote. The crewmates looked at each other and said, "You know what? Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah." Which is crazy how William twisted that. He's like, "They're thieves." And it's like, William, Mr. William Thompson, how you gonna say that and you got paid? Does the crewmates, do they know they got paid? Does the crewmates of Mary Dear know that William Thompson got paid? Do they how you gonna call them thieves? Was Jose? Because Jose said he was gonna bring the jewelry back, like the treasure, the cargo. So William, you twisted these words. William had a game plan from day one. He saw that treasure. He saw all that stuff. He's like, he had something cooking. The crewmates. So Captain William Thompson, second mate James Forbes, and the crew of Mary Dear will all, quote, turn pirate, end quote. A saying referring to, quote, someone who transitions from a legitimate profession often related to seafaring, like privateering, to a life of piracy, end quote. Because, fun fact, some pirates don't always start off as pirates. No, they were everyday working people who probably got fed up with the system and set it off. Okay, the crew would slit the throats of the military guard and Catholic priests, which I'm like, oh my God, no, don't do that. Y'all are really going all in, huh? Oh, we're really doing this. Although there were some accounts of them being, there were some accounts of the guard and the Catholic priests being bound and tossed overboard, but either way, they were no longer a problem. Captain William would change the route from Mexico to the coast of Costa Rica towards an island called Isla de of Cocos. Isla de of Cocos. He's like, all right, we're really doing this, okay? Now, this island wasn't chosen for convenient purposes. Cocos Island was known as a place for pirates to hide their treasure, thus given the nickname Treasure Island. Oh, it would be this safe haven where Captain William will allegedly bury Lima's treasure, with the game plan of coming back once the heat was off. Well, they never got the chance to celebrate their loot because the Spanish authorities eventually found and arrested their thieving asses. William Thompson, you look conniving ass. Got you. Oh, sorry. As punishment, the entire crew of Mary Dear would be hung, all except Captain William and his first mate James Forbes. Now, there are two accounts how this played out. The first account would say that the Spanish authorities would keep these two alive in order to show them the buried treasure's location. In the second account, it was Captain William and James who were the ones to give up the treasure's location in exchange for their lives to be spared. Either way, they all end up back at Cocos Island, thinking this would be a straightforward excavation. You know, excavation. There you go. Basically, just like a quick little skip and a hop, go to the island, pick up this treasure, and bounce, right? But no. Due to the incompetence of the authorities, maybe some miscommunication or unskilled workers keep an eye on them. I don't know. But due to this, both Captain Williams and James Forbes escaped into the jungle. Now, not only did they escape the island, but they found and snuck onto a ship routed to Canada, then to California. So, baby girl, I'm telling, luck was on their side, okay? Like how everything just like aligned up. You got the incompetence of the authorities. You escape, found and stuck on a ship, going to two different routes. Oh, baby, you're good. They're in the clear, honey. I mean, the universe's work was on their side, honey. Okay. Now we gotta get back to the story here. Okay, now the ship was on the route to Canada and eventually to California. Now, James will settle in California, and not only will he settle down, he'll become a very successful businessman, which is like very suspicious. Like, like you settled down in California and just instantly became a successful businessman. Like, how did you get the money to start that? As for Captain William Thompson, he returned to Newfoundland with the help of a whaling ship, a ship that catches whales. That's funny. A whaling ship. Literally a ship that catches whales. I don't know why that's funny for me. And he nor the treasure was never seen or heard from again, which is also very suspicious. You guys just both... Okay. During the remainder of both Williams and James Forbes' lives, neither man would return to the Cocos Island. Reason being that there was no need to return to the island because they already split the treasure in at different locations. Why would we need to return to the island when we already have the treasure? We split that down the middle. So yeah, and never to yeah. I would do the same. I won't be James though. I won't settle down in like a growing place like California and become a. Either way, back to the story. Either way, they were never they were good. Okay. Now, back with James in California, he throughout the years would tell his family about the treasure, or at least tall tales of it, even writing down the details of the location and contents, eventually passing this information down to his son, James Forbes Jr., who attempted to find the treasure himself, but failed. This would be the first of many attempts to come. In 1840, a seaman named John Keating, who claimed to be close to Captain William Thompson, had said that William Thompson, revealed the location of the treasure. During his excavation, the hunt. I'm gonna say excavation. I can't pronounce that. It's during his hunt. I'm gonna say his hunt. Okay, Keating would only find a few gold pieces and some jewels, but it was nothing compared to what was said to be Lima's treasure. The next attempt would be German adventurer and treasure hunter August. I'm gonna say, it's not August, it's August. I'm sorry, y'all. August Giesler, who had two maps from two independent sources, both identifying the same location of the treasure. In 1889, equipped with this knowledge and confidence, he would eventually move to Cocos Island. Now, get this. The Costa Rican government, like how August was running things, it was like his people, I'm guessing his crew, so much that he would grant him, August, position of government and even allow him to start a German colony. Is that not crazy? No, absolutely not. The colonizers would be mostly tobacco farmers, which is like, is that island soil even able to produce tobacco? Like, were they even taking that into consideration? But I don't know. It's just messing up things. Not even. But whatever. I digress. August must have some pussy power to be able to get this much pull, because his hunts were being funded by the damn Coco's Plantation Company. Which I'm siding to, the Plantation Company. What a crazy name to be. Why would you to name yourselves that? I'm guessing he promised some higher ups a cut of this treasure, and him, August, was keeping an eye on the prized possession. It was said that August was obsessed with finding the 7-foot golden statue of Virgin Mary holding little baby Jesus. That was like loaded with the precious stones, the one I told you earlier. He was obsessed with this. So he would dig these huge complex tunnels, which can be still entered to this day. I saw the pictures and they were, bigger than average size. There were these huge like holes or tunnels, I'm sorry. And like that can fit, I say like multiple people in there. And he made these tunnels, and these tunnels expanded throughout the island. But unfortunately, each hunt will be a bust. And the elves just continue to come. After some years, farmers couldn't take the island's harsh conditions. Who knew, right? Come on. What do you expect? You idiots. Or the fact that they were isolated from Costa Rica's mainland. So, island's conditions, and they felt isolated. Slowly but surely, they packed up and left the island. In 1908, August was said to be stubborn, and his wife would be the last to leave, bound for New York. In the near decade of being on Coco's and additional years of research, the only thing August had to show was a failed colonization, a failed hunt, and supposedly just 6 gold coins and treasure. Wah, wah, wah. You fool. That's what you get trying to colonize a damn country. That island was so attached to that country. So, yeah, like, that's what you get. All that, just wasted. Ugh. Like, who cares? The money that he was wasting was also evil company, so who cares? This next hunt we reported in an article from Bakersfield, California. It was written on January 29th, 1949, about James Forbes, the second mate of William Thompson. Okay, the one earlier. Okay, cool. Now this was about James Forbes' great-great-grandson. I believe that's correct. It was about James Forbes the 5th. Yeah, it would be the 5th because it's an IV. So the 5th. Yeah. Who was using, quote, information that was passed down from his family, which is obvious the coordinates/details that was written down by the original James Forbes. But I guess like the public didn't know that at the time, and it's probably like a family secret. So yes, he was using information. And he would go on 5 expeditions to Coco's Island. The last trip would include 50 crewmen and Hollywood equipment. I'm assuming he was filming a documentary about like the treasure expedition. But just like the treasure hunters before him, he would come up short. Having all these treasure hunters come up short is when the wheels begin to spin and people got to thinking. Here comes the conspiracy theories. One being that the treasure was never buried on Coco's Island, but an unknown island off the coast of Central America, which is how Captain America Which is how Captain Williams and James Forbes were able to collect, split, and dip. Collect, split, and dip. That's pretty funny. I wrote that, so sorry. So like the second theory saying that the treasure was placed in a different location. It was just never found again after they got caught and ran off. And it's just still there to this day. There were reports of the treasure being found, but they were considered a hoax to get seekers away from the island. A very clever scheme cooked up by Todd. It's a Real Housewives of Atlanta reference. Okay. Then there were the many skeptics who said the treasure never existed. It was just a colorful pirate's tale. Now, I'm guessing after years of seeing the island being disturbed and turned every which way out, in 1994, the Costa Rica government banned treasure hunting on cocos, believing what skeptics thought as well, that the treasure of Lima never existed on the island. And to protect the ecological system, and maybe make some bucks, only 1,000 visitors are now limited per year to the island. In a creative way to remember both treasure and Cocos Island's history, an art project curated by Nadim Sama for the Destin Pocenaria Art Contemporary Academy, in a creative way to remember both the treasure and the island's history, an art project created by Nadim Sama for the Thyssen Posemia Art Contemporary Academy. In May 2012, around 40 artists placed their artwork, videos, records, paintings, and so on, in a chest, then buried in a secret location. GPS coordinates of the location was then given to Dutch artist Constant Duart, who worked with Michael Wedge, a cryptographer, to be encoded, resulting in a string of code which was then engraved on a steel cylinder and encased in a replica of the treasure chest. It was then sold at an auction in November 2014. The proceeds were donated to the Marine Protection of Isla de Cocos, helping maintaining research and conserving ecological life, which is a great way to show gratitude to the island. That was a lot. Recap real quick. So, in 2012, Nadim, the curator for an art academy, created recreated the Treasure of Lima story. It had 40 artists come, placed their artwork into a chest. They buried the chest. They got GPS location, sent that GPS location, made it encrypted, got the codes, and put the codes on like a cute little cylinder thing so you can like be all like, what's that, like a Rubik's Cube it? Like, try to like twist and spin this and like decode it so they can find the location. That was then auctioned off, and the proceeds went to go for research wildlife or ecological life for the island, maintaining, just showing appreciation for the island and keeping up with the, just helping with the marine life. And that was a quick 10-second recap of what I just said prior. I had coffee, so. Not only did the Treasure of Lima inspire artists, but authors as well. It was said that Robert Louis Stevenson was inspired by pirate tales just like this one when he wrote Treasure Island. The release of the book would put Cocos Island on the map. No pun intended. One of my favorite authors, Michael Crichton, was so inspired by the island's lore that it became the model for the fictional island Isla Nubla and the best-selling blockbuster hit Jurassic Park. The islands were also mentioned in song lyrics and various other platforms, but I just wanted to pull something that I was familiar with, so I went with these two. But still, it's like, it's fun, just a little little inspirational. After numerous reports on how the treasure was never found, I think it's safe to say, or at least in my opinion, that the treasure was not entirely buried there. Now, here's my opinion, or my theory. The treasure was placed in a different location. It probably never even touched that island, Cocos Island. It was most likely kept in a nearby town or city, and that Captain William took some of his coins that he was initially his payment and sprinkled it around Cocos Island, and to throw everyone off. So he's like, I'm just gonna sprinkle some coins, some jewelry, bury some jewelry, because he can spare a few coins or jewels compared to what he had back on the ship or town. So he can do that. He was already set. So he does this, buried some of his little money, profit, and he goes back to wherever the treasure is placed, and he and James begin to split the profit. Because when they're caught, they take the authorities back to the island, Cocos Island. But when they escape, they both were able to live, at least James, but from what we know, they were able to live a very comfortable life he was able to live a very comfortable life as a businessman. And how was he able to start that business? Because of their treasure. While Captain William dipped out, never to be seen again, and he was able to live off the treasure as well. All right? Now, I don't believe some of the items in the chest, like the 7-foot gold Mary and little baby Jesus statue. I think that would have popped up, or word would have gotten around about someone having such an eye-catching item hanging around. I believe there were just jewels, jewelry, and coins and gems that the two were able to move around without raising alarms. It also helped that the buried treasure became a life of its own. Everyone wanted their hands on the treasure, so the focus was taken off both Captain Williams and James Forbes. And not once, or at least what I know, was he questioned, James Forbes, on being able to live the life he lived. I think the authorities, once again, slipped up because there were so many opportunities to question James Forbes. And I mean, he was living in California. I mean, it was like a skip and a hop. I mean, it wasn't too crazy. I mean, they could have easily just been like, hey, what's up? Was that you? Was that not you on the Mary Dear ship? And Captain Williams who stole the treasure? Was that not you? Is this not your face? Are you not wanted? Because how? Yeah, I'm going with that. I'm telling you, that treasure, I think it was like over exaggerated. I really think that treasure was just coins, a bunch of coins, and it was never buried on an island. And they said, here's our game plan. I think they were in it from the jump. Those two, I think they were willing to sacrifice their crewmates. It was just about those two. Never be heard again? William? Oh, he got that treasure. He definitely got that treasure. They both did. Okay. I'm just thinking about it now. I'm like, oh yeah. They had this plan. I feel like they had this plan from the moment they got paid, from the moment they saw that treasure. It was a wrap. You know what I mean? They were gonna get this treasure one way or another. And then being caught, it's just like I said, the universe was on their side because they just happened to escape, girl. Come on. In the end, I don't think the treasure was ever there, but during the time, I'm sure it was such a allure, a mystery, enticing, like finding the golden ticket for Willy Wonka. Like what a time to be alive to hear about this treasure. Oh my God! It was just, I gotta get it. Imagine. Because it wasn't this during I don't know, wouldn't this be during the, what do you call that? The golden, what was that in California? The gold rush. Yeah, I can imagine like that going around, this treasure hunt's going around, the rumor of this treasure. I can see like just excitement, like a buzz, you know? But knowing what I know now, it just seems like a fun pirate tale. And that tale inspired others and kept the mystery and Cocos Island alive to this day. And there you have it. The treasure of Lima, aka treasure of Cocos, aka Treasure Island. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and until next time, bye. But seriously, someone should look into James Forbes and his descendants' finances. I think we'll have our answer. Maybe I should. Maybe that can be an episode. Ooh. Do-do-do-do-do-do. It won't be that theme song, but just ooh. If you enjoyed this episode or enjoyed this story and want to hear more stories like this one, then be sure to like and subscribe. Have a story suggestion? Feel free to leave it in the comments below. This has been episode 10, The Treasure of Lima. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time,